Yo, what is good, my friends? Now, this week is going to be something that you have never experienced ever before. Firstly, what I need you to do is to pull yourself out of that script that you've been running. And those scripts are constantly at play. In everything that we do, there's some sort of script that then gets installed or that we run unconsciously that, in the past, we just want to take it and we want to remove it. Remove it from our vision, because this week, I want to thank you for jumping in, joining in, whether you're walking, running, singing, jumping, driving, whatever you may be doing. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Now, the very first thing is the understanding of, I want to say it was Kobe Bryant. Whether they praise you or whether they hate you, regardless, I pay no attention to it. I think that's a very good thing to take into consideration. My good friend Chase always talks about it, and there's a lot of things that I have learned from my friend Chase that it's very fun to talk and share and go all in on, and really figure out where into the future we want to take this. So what have we been up to? Well, we just recorded a new YouTube video. If you like YouTube videos, go check out our latest, recent, most successful interview. And it's fun because I think with it really makes me realize and understand, like, take care of the people that you have. At the same time, stop throwing your pearls to the pigs and go after those that you can truly serve best. I think all of us have it within us, and I know that we are here for a greater whole and a greater purpose, and there's a lot of open loops that I want to open up here now with me, and I hope that you can tune in fully all the way into the end. So thank you again. My name is Justin Kopet. If I haven't already introduced myself, again, I want to dive into this one because I think that it's going to be something that I've never spoken on before. And it comes with some of the things that I've been leading up here into, and it's with the nervous system. And the whole concept of the idea of, say, for example, nobody outside of you is real. I am just a different version than you. And we're all here as humans, remembering that we are a consciousness and that this body is temporary. So my next thing for you is hopefully going to blow your mind. And it's the idea of, what if the concept were to be true around this saying here, is this is my world and you're just living in it. Now, that takes some... Now, I'm not saying it with an egotistical or I'm better than you or any of that type of view at all. We're going to leave that stuff at the door and remove it from our lens of perspective, because that's not what I mean at all. What I mean by this is, if we were to be able to train our nervous systems into understanding that this is my world or this is your world and I'm just living in it or you're just living in it, how would one feel? Wow. I'm guessing you may have never thought about that type of concept before, but it's very quite interesting to observe and to understand. Now, I'm going to have a lot more to go into this on, so make sure you come back into the future, because it would be greatly appreciated to see if this resonates with you at all. But a few other things are to understand how the brain operates and how the brain works. And one of the biggest things for me is the amygdala, where our fears are stored. And I think it's really good to have a picture of a brain when we start to think about these parts of our brain, because once we can bring awareness to a lot of the things that are fear or had feared in the past of being, I think it makes it a lot easier. And a lot of the times with these fears, they just want to be seen, or these ghosts or these shadows, as Carl Jung talks about, that run around in certain people's minds or brains that cause them to see the worst in everything. And I think what you need to do is understand that if it dwells in us, what's funny is I took some advice from this person the other day, and it talked about where these fears really hide in us. In the shadow is what it was telling me, was it hides right here, right under the rib cage. And if you press on it, you may be able to hear it. Don't mind the tractor outside that I have to have my window open for some reason, and it wants to drive by while we're recording this. I noticed this in the last podcast, that cars kept driving by. And whatever it may be, if we're going to go back to the fear here, is to understand that it just wants to be seen. You know, the whole fear of one being a fraud, or one not actually being who they say they are, or one that's not the person that you know deep and down inside of yourself that you are to be. And this fear continuously arises and comes up and comes back and, plays this role here. But what I want you to do here with it is to almost imagine that instead of it dwelling right under our rib cage here, right in the front, that we can bring it up, bring it out, and allow it to observe right where you're observing, in that you can acknowledge it. You do not have to accept it. It's not your enemy, but it wants to be on your team. And it wants to know that, hey, if we can start to develop ourselves into the person that we know we are to be as a whole and as a collective, that all it wants to do is observe it. Because when you can bring awareness to the person of, say, you're a multi-millionaire, for example, and maybe that's who you're becoming, a multi-billionaire, maybe even better, or maybe you're a trillionaire, or maybe you're all the way on Bitcoin and you own 100,000 Bitcoins, for example, whatever it is, wherever you're going. And as you progress and as you start to get those results for yourself, and you gather that evidence and those receipts, you can allow this part, or the shadow that tells you you're not good enough, imposter, how dare you think that that's who you are, etc., the one that is really nagging one's own self, and allow him to sit there with you and observe as you start to collect the receipts. And it's not about showing that it's wrong, but at the same time understanding, hey, we're on the same team here, and I just need you to gather the truth behind the fact of this is who I am, and start to embody that. Because if we can go into the future and pull back future memories and understand how we're going to feel in that moment, and train our nervous systems to align with it and bring it here into the present moment, it allows us to have a lot more safety, a lot more comfortability, a lot more understanding and wisdom that this is actually who I am. Now, with that, I wish I had a lot more to go into, but at the same time, if we're going to get into this flow state with the ego, that everything seems to work out perfectly in alignment at the exact time and reason that it's supposed to, we need to gather these receipts together. And ultimately, for me, it's the understanding of, hey, this is a true testament to my faith. This is who my future self is telling me that I am. And I'm working on aligning the nervous system here in the present moment to embody it and to fully accept it. Now, there's so many cars driving by, you can probably hear them in the background. And again, my apologies. But regardless, if that's who you are becoming, what I need you to fully embody next is the understanding of, with your faith, my friends, with your understanding and wisdom, my friends, that as you ask, seek, and walk through the door in terms of owning it fully, that allowing God to do God's job and you to control the things that you can control is very important. There was once a wise parable that talked about, Lord, give me the wisdom to understand the things that I can control, the things that are in my control, and to know and have discernment around the things that I may not be in my control or that are out of my control. And ultimately, the knowing, wisdom, and true understanding and truth with a capital T to know the difference between the two. And I believe that's very important, to know the things that you can control and to know the things that you cannot control. And that the things that you cannot control are the Lord's duty that are going to help you, tested by your faith in understanding and relationship with the Heavenly Father. So God bless you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much. The feedback is incredible. But like I mentioned, just as Kobe Bryant once said, you know, whether it's praise or hate, regardless, continue on, keep going, and keep embodying who you are as a person and align with the will of the one who has sent you and I, which is the best way to go about it, truthfully, that I've understood. And I hope that it helps you. Now with that, God bless you all. Peace be with you, and have a fantastic rest of your day and week whenever you tune into this. All right? Peace be with you, my friends.